And now, marine weather around Alaska.
Looking for fairly light winds here across all of the southeastern areas. For the north coast here, northwesterlies at 10 knots. And then east winds at about 10 knots on the central coast and the south coast. Southeast at 15 knots. Otherwise, about the same there. Southeast 15 for Clarence Strait. Stevens Passage southeast at 10 and variable winds at 5 knots for Lynn Canal. No change for Monday for Lynn Canal. Variable winds 5 knots, southeast at 10 for Stevens Passage, southeast 20 knots for Clarence Strait and the coastline of Prince of Wales Island, southeast 15 knots on the central coast, and westerlies 10 or 10 to 15 knots for the north coast. Prince William Sound and the North Gulf Coast tomorrow, light variable winds at 10 knots, southwest 15 knot winds forecast for Cook Inlet, southeast at 20 for Kamishak Bay, 15 knots for the Barren Islands. And for Monday, southwest breeze at about 10 knots for Cook Inlet and Prince William Sound. Otherwise, here, Kamishak Bay, the Barren Islands, and North Gulf Coast, variable winds at 10 or 10 to 15 knots. Kodiak Island, east-southeast breeze at 15 to 20 knots there, strongest on the east side of the island. And east winds, 25 knots, so small craft advisories for Bristol Bay. And for the Alaska Peninsula, variable winds, 10 to 20 knots. For the peninsula on Monday, variable winds at 10 to 20 knots again, or mostly from the west or northwest. West to 20 for Bristol Bay, Kodiak Island, south to southwesterlies at 15 knots. Eastern Aleutians, Sunday, west to northwest winds at 15 knots. Adak and Atka looking at westerly winds of 15 knots. And for the western Aleutians, west-southwest winds, 15 knots. And then for the day on Monday, western Aleutians, west winds at 20 knots, southwest 15 for the central Aleutians, and west-southwest winds 10 to 15 knots for the Fox Islands. And for the southwest coast here, tomorrow, east winds 15 to 20 knots, east at 10 knots for St. Lawrence Island, 15 knots from the east for Norton Sound. Pribilofs, variable winds at 10 knots, south at 20 for St. Matthew Island. And then for Monday, south at 15 for the Pribilof, St. Matthew Island east at 15, and southeast 15 knots here for the Yukon Delta coast, west 15 for Norton Sound, St. Lawrence Island, looking at a southeast breeze at just 10 knots. And for the eastern Beaufort Sea coastline tomorrow, east winds at 10 to 15, southeast 10 for the central coast, west at 10 here for the western Arctic coast. And for the Chukchi Sea, southeast to northeast winds at 10. And then for Monday, for the western Arctic coast, northeast winds at 20 knots at Chukchi Sea, north winds at just 10 knots. Northeast at 15 for the central Arctic coast, and the east side looking at east to northeasterlies at 15.